Okay, so this is my third LOL cake pop video I've done. I've done one on YouTube and one on Instagram TV. So you guys know the drill. We've already seen how I make the cake pop. What you really want to see is the hair, and then there's a slight difference on the eyes. So let's go ahead and skip to that. So her face is basically the same. The only difference is that I'm adding one catch light in each eye, and then I'm going to put some gold eyeliner on the top of her eye. And then I'm going to add 3 thin eyelashes to the top of her eye. Again, her mouth and her nose are the exact same as the other LOL cake pops, but let's go ahead and talk about the color of her lips. I went ahead and used pink poppy paint, and I added 1 drop of purple and a couple drops of white. I was really trying to match the color of her lips that I had in the photos, and I think I got pretty close. Now that I'm done with her face, let's go ahead and get to the part that you guys are here for, her hair. Now her hair is going to be gold, and so I colored my fondant with yellow and a drop of brown to slightly soften it. We're going to start out making a snake and putting it on top of her head to make a poof, just like we did on our SPF Cutie Cake Pop. Get out your edible glue. My favorite is Little Honey's edible glue. And we're going to brush a little bit onto the back side of our poof and stick it onto her head. Press firmly to hold it in place, but be careful not to crack your cake pop. Next, roll a thin piece of fondant and cut it out with a circle cutter. And then place it on the back of your head and see if it will fit. If not, then cut some off and check again. Once your hair is the right size, use a small circle cutter to put circles all over your fondant so that it ends up looking like curly hair. Flip your hair over, and we're going to add glue to the back side, but before we do, we're going to double check again just to make sure it's going to fit in the right spot. Carefully press your hair into place just like we did with our SPF Cutie Cake Pop. Cutting off the excess in the front and then taking our scissors in the back to cut a triangle out of one side, pull over your fondant and smooth it down, and then cutting a triangle off the other side and then pressing the seam down the middle. Now we're going to move on to her bangs, and we're going to roll out a thicker piece of fondant, and we're going to use a small circle cutter to cut out her bangs. I'm going to cut a straight line across the bottom, and then I'm going to hold my circle cutter on top of her hair and press down gently, making a spot for our bangs to fit in. Again, we did the exact same thing with the SPF Cutie Cake Pop. I'm using a fondant tool to make one line down the middle, and then I'll use the circle cutter to make the rest of the lines on her bangs. Place glue on the back side of her bangs, and then just like a puzzle piece, fit your bangs into the spot where we cut out fondant. We are now going to make the base for her buns. I'm making 2 small balls, the same exact size, that will fit on her head, and we'll be covering them, so we want to keep them smaller than what we want them to be in the end. Place your buns to the side to let them dry out a little bit, and then we're going to go ahead and cut out her earrings with a very thin piece of fondant. Her earrings are actually very small crowns that are hanging from her ears, but I went ahead and just did some dangly earrings with a square on the bottom. They end up looking really pretty with gold, and I did not want to deal with having to make a micro crown. Once you have 2 cut out, place them to the side and let them dry. Your buns should now be slightly dried out, and the bottom part is going to be flat, and that's where we're going to attach it to our head. We are going to apply some edible glue to the bottom, and we're going to let them sit for a few seconds to get a little bit tacky. While they're getting tacky, we're going to use our knuckle and press into the back of our fondant, creating 2 spots where we're going to place them in, and then cover that with edible glue as well. Fold a paper towel or some plastic wrap and place it underneath her head to hold it up while our buns are drying, because they are heavy and it will take some time for them to fully attach. This next part is very tedious, but I just love the way it looks in the end. It's totally avoidable if you don't want to do this next step. You don't have to. Use your small circle cutter all over her buns and make it look just like you did the rest of her hair. The fondant mold that I'm using is supposed to be for jewelry. I believe it's supposed to look like pearls, so this would be like a cluster of pearls. I'm cutting in half each piece that's going to go around the base of her buns, and then the rest I'm leaving whole, and I'm just trying to fit them in like little puzzle pieces as best as I can and get them as close together as I can. I'm gently pressing down my fingers to put them into place, but I also have a small silicone fondant shaper that I'm using to sort of push them into the creases. And I'm just going to continue this until her buns are completely covered. When I'm done with her hair, I'm going to get out my champagne colored cake shimmer, and I'm going to use poppy paint thinner to mix it in like a paint. Since I'm using my poppy paint thinner, I will be needing to clean my brush here and there with alcohol, just like you would with poppy paint. Using a small flat tip brush, I'm just going to brush gold paint all over the entire thing and really try to get in every little crease and crevice. Next, I'm going to paint my earrings, and we will be handling them later, which is one reason why I chose to use poppy paint thinner over just plain alcohol, because the poppy paint thinner really makes the gold shimmer very sticky and it sticks it on there very well where you can handle it later and your gold will not come off. Use a fine tip brush and add a little edible glue to the tips of your earrings, and then gently press them onto the bottom of your ears. If your earrings aren't quite dried all the way through, go ahead and stand up your cake pop as soon as possible, that way they hang straight. Remove your paper towel and your plastic wrap, and your cake pop is all done.